Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kid Andersen here from Greaseland Studios, and I am here today to tell you about some new pedals from my brothers in Denmark, the Carl Martin Pedal Company. They made some great new pedals here. The first one I'd like to talk about is this one here, the Headroom, and it's a spring reverb pedal. It's got real springs in it, as you can tell. And I believe it's a 7-inch 3-spring tank. And it has some features that make it even more useful to players like me, traditional blues players. You can go from a subtle sound with just a touch of reverb to crazy surf freakouts without even touching a knob. Let me tell you a little bit about the features and also about some common problems with outboard analog spring reverb units that if you're anything like me, you've encountered these a lot. So it's got springs, which is something you can try and emulate it with digital, but there is nothing like the real thing, I'm telling you, and this is it. And it's also, it fits in your pedal board, it fits in my pedal case. It's not like reverb tank where it's its own, might as well be another amp. It is battery. It works on batteries. Thank you. Are they still into Thor in Denmark? I'm not sure. Some people are still in Norway. I know they're a little more progressive than us. So, and the cool thing about this that really sets it apart from being battery powered, portable, and a real spring unit, it is this switch right here, which selects between two different reverb presets, basically. Shoo, get out of there. People, anyone who's used a reverb unit of any kind in front of the amp as opposed to in an effects loop or an onboard amp reverb, anyone who's used one in front of the amp knows the dilemma. You either have too much reverb all of a sudden or hardly any at all. It's really hard to find a balance. The reason for that is because the amp compresses. As you drive your amp into distortion, it compresses the signal a whole hell of a lot. And what happens is that the reverb that was quiet before now becomes really loud. Example. That sounds fine. There's a good amount of reverb. Nice dose of reverb, but it's not overpowering the sound. Now, without touching the amp or the pedal, what happens if I crank it up? Okay, that's what a lot of people would consider overkill. Now, Carl Martin has devised a solution for this, which I've never seen in any analog pedal before, and that is that they have two different presets you can choose from. So if that's my A reverb, which sounds like too much with that sound, but with that sound, it sounds cool. So, for instance, when I go to my lead, I can go to my B reverb, which is the same settings, just the level down a bit. And later, I'm doing it with my hands now, but in real life, I would be doing this with my feet. I do this a lot, go between a crazy surf reverb to a real from Junior Watson. To BB King. So you can always have two different reverbs at your fingertips. It's immensely useful, and thank you for that, Carl Martin. You've saved me many a headache. I got this on a chair right now, so it seems a little touchy, but it's when you get on the stage, it'll only do stuff like that when you want it to, and it's quite cool. I've already used it for a climax in the surf song or na na na. Na 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 na. I don't want to get sued here, so I'll stop it. However, as you can tell, there's lots of fun you can have with it. That's also good for, little subtle effect. You can, for instance, when I got my cable caught under it, and I could manipulate it slightly and shake it like this. Be like, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andersen. A lot of fun, but mainly the tones you can get out of it are really great. I like to keep the treble all the way up on the reverb because, A, I'm deaf, and B, they're brighter that way. But if you're in the subtlety, which I'm not, but if you are, you can get a darker reverb. I imagine it'd be a lot of fun for reggae stuff. Or but I like to keep it pretty bright. And here's a little bit. I'll play with it. So, in conclusion, I really do not have anything negative to say about either one of these pedals. The Headroom, the Surf Trem will both be seeing a lot of use at gigs I do in the future. These pedals will both be seeing a lot of use at gigs I do in the future, along with some other pedals from Carl Martin. And especially the Surf Trem is great, but the Headroom has really made a headway in the evolution of old school analog spring reverb, and it's about as usable as any reverb unit I've seen, and it's also quite inventive. So there you have it, Kid Andersen signing out.